Does anyone know if this class is curved?
I think so. He said the class was going to be on a bell curve.
What's a bell curve?
Did someone say the bell curve?
Who the hell are you?
I'm the bell curve expert. So the bell curve was introduced because of education. The challenge for teachers to facilitate student potential while also combating the issue of grade inflation. Therefore, grading curves were implemented. The bell-shaped density curve was created because there was a need for structure in the grading system and to fit students to the modern-day workplace hierarchy, with those at the top, most in the middle, and a few at the bottom. This helps to heighten the reputation of the institutions by sending forward only the best students, avoiding grade inflation so that only the best students will be identified for medical, law, or business schools. In order for you guys to truly understand, let's take a look at the history of education.
History of the present. The history of the present is when the past is studied to define the present. The legacy of the bell curve and scaling can be found in post-secondary institutions today. At SFU, faculties such as health science, business, and applied sciences feature grade scaling in many classes and at all levels of study.
Retooling. The idea of retooling refers to something that has changed dramatically over the years and is not the same as it was once before. The curve was originally used as a tool to measure students based on academic performance and distribute grades where only certain students receive a certain grade. The curve is still used for this purpose today. However, it has been standardized based on each faculty where different departments use different curves accordingly.
Non-teleological. The study of the curve does not necessarily feature an end goal nor a hope to come to a definite conclusion about the curve. Instead, the investigation of this academic practice seeks to see how historical education practices influence current structures and practices of schools and why certain departments feature this grading system and others do not.
Non-essentialist simply means that there is no essential or fixed nature of the object of study, but institutions, such as schools, can differ significantly from one context to another, and much like how H2O can take liquid, solid, or gas forms, other objects of study are also fluid and changing. This investigation does not believe there is an essential or fixed nature about the curve, but it is practiced differently and has different characteristics from university to university, and even from department to department.
Non-dominant. Non-dominant means the object of study does not have to be a big person or event. In this case, the curve does not constitute a big event, idea, or person that would normally be studied in a historical framework. The curve is a specific academic practice that is not often criticized or deemed to be of significant importance. It is a standard and accepted practice.
Epistemic breaks. While the curve itself does not constitute an epistemic break, it branches from and is connected to the epistemic break in education by Farish in 1792. Farish dramatically changed grading practices, influenced standardization in education, and sought to make grading easier and more efficient for instructors. The curve allows instructors to have student results match and be more consistent year after year, therefore affording them the ability to not have to adapt their course if it is proven that the course is too easy or too difficult by students over time. 1790 Bentham Panopticism. Panopticism was a system of control created by Jeremy Bentham, mainly used in prison to monitor convicts. In this context, schools turned to using grades as a tool to monitor students' academic progress.
1792 Farish, Marking and Ranking. Farish came up with the idea of grades and marking as a way to allow teachers to process more students in a shorter period of time. Marking tests and making adjustments to the scores in light of how they deviate from the mean is a method of increased efficiency for teachers. This idea very much connects to the goals of Fordism and the assembly line.
1905 Fordism. It is used to maximize efficiency for teachers to grade on a scale when students' grades are distributed. This way, the teachers do not need to modify their courses or examinations if the content proves to be too difficult or too easy, but rather they redistribute students' performance in order to represent a desired grading outcome, for example, where only a certain amount of people pass.
1920 IQ tests. The bell curve endorses prejudice by virtue of what it does not say. Nowhere does the book address why it investigates racial differences in IQ. By never spelling out a reason for reporting on these differences in the first place, the authors transmit an unspoken yet clear conclusion. Race is a helpful indicator as to whether a person is likely to hold certain capabilities.
So now you guys know about the bell curve. What do you think about it?
I'm not a big fan of the bell curve. It's unfair that there's only a fixed amount of students that can get each grade. It only encourages competition, and students are discouraged from going beyond what they're expected to learn in class.
Well, it promotes this cutthroat competition and creates a hostile atmosphere. It doesn't matter if the good teacher teaches well or not, but if he or she consistently gives out above average grades.
I feel like it's ethically wrong for the bell curve to be in place because it's not even a proven concept, law, or theory. It's just a statistically based descriptive method that demonstrates a curve. It's been proven that most students do well in a cooperative environment rather than a competitive one. Mark Twain even once said, children do bad on standardized tests because they don't have standardized minds.
We must ask again why students have become more interested in grades than learning. Were they born this way? No, it's because the education system has placed more importance on examinations and grades rather than on actual learning.
Also, why the hell is SFU parking so expensive?